I doing this video? I'm going to be eviscerated by the fans. I don't even know what that word means, but it feels like that's probably what it's going to happen. I just feel like that's what's going to happen. Hey everybody, Ketwolski here, checking in with our second part of our little vlog video series. The other one was the one that I did yesterday, which was where I responded to comments from you, the fans, and made a little bit of a teaser for this video, which is where I'm going to finally discuss what my views are on canon, Star Trek Canon. So we're going to kind of begin this discussion talking a little bit about, number one, what canon is, and what it means to different people, what the different ideas are about it, and then I'm going to wrap it up with what I think canon actually is for Star Trek, and what that actually translates to for the show itself on YouTube. So before we begin, let's talk about what canon is. Canon is the primary rule set, the primary continuity, the primary timelines, if you will, of a particular franchise. Now we're, of course, talking about Star Trek. To many fans, this equates to the TOS, TNG, DS9, Voyager, Enterprise, all of the movies, and the animated series for most people. That kind of wraps it all up. Now, I've talked to people that are on both opposite ends of this particular spectrum. I've talked to people who believe that TOS is the only canon that actually exists, and that they think that the rest of, the Star Trek universe is just really, really expensive fan fiction. And I've also spoken to people who think that canon is everything, no matter what. Even if it contradicts itself, it doesn't matter. Canon is, if you write it on a sheet of paper that says Captain Picard is now a woman, Captain Picard is now a woman, and that's part of canon. I've talked to people on both ends of that particular spectrum. And what I've done is post up in a few different forums my general question, which is, what does Star Trek canon mean to you? And of course, the conversations in all these different forums immediately devolved into just mudslinging and calling people idiots and things of that nature. But several ideas rose to the top that most people agreed with, and that they had kind of branching feelings about, based off of those three top concepts. So we're going to talk about those three concepts today, and I'm going to tell you which one that I view as most accurate to me personally, and that I'm going to be using for the channel that I've used already, but that I'm actually going to go ahead and officially state in this particular video. So the first one that we're going to talk about is that just the shows, the movies, and the animated series are canon. Now, those are the only three things that are listed out on StarTrek.com inside of the official timeline series that they have set up on their website. And most fans, I would say, actually agree with this. That most fans that I've spoken to feel as though the books are nice, the video games are nice, the comics are nice, but the show and the movies are really the primary source for any kind of information regarding the characters in Star Trek. I'm not going to disagree with that. I think that's a fair assessment. I would say that most Trekkies believe in that as well, but that's also very limiting to me. Like, I feel like that's pulling the scope of really what the expanded universe of Trek is down to just a very small, finite amount of details, which even in the shows, there's a lot of continuity errors. So I don't feel like that's capturing everything that could be available to someone in my position, where I'm making lore videos and talking about Star Trek on a broad scope and scale. So the second one that we're going to talk about is that Star Trek novels, comics, shows, movies, and video games are all canon, unless it is trumped by the television shows and the movies. So it kind of is like a priority of canon. It's soft and hard canon. Hard canon being everything that you see on screen. Soft canon being the video games, comics, and books. This one I feel is probably pretty appropriate. I think it captures a lot of the rest of the expanded universe, but also sets forth the concept of the shows and the movies themselves are in fact the hard, no-kidding canon. If it appears in the show or the movies, then that's the facts. That is what it is. No matter what other books or video games or comics come out, that's what we all are supposed to adhere to, and the other stuff is nice, and it adds to the lore and the mythology of all the different characters in Star Trek, but that's not hard canon. It's soft, and it can easily be replaced by anything that happens on the TV screen or the big silver. And the final one that we're going to talk about, which was kind of an interesting concept to me, which is that every single episode, other than two-parters and connected episodes and things like that, and connected movies, every single one of them is actually a viewpoint into a parallel universe or an alternate reality or something like that. Now, if you guys recall, in TNG, it's a great episode that exemplifies this point. In TNG, there's an episode where Worf wins like a little trophy for, I don't know, like an eating contest or something like that. I have no idea. And on his way back to the Enterprise in his little shuttle, he accidentally crosses over to a parallel universe. And then Data talks about how every single decision that people make leads to parallel and alternate universes. If you decide to eat eggs for breakfast and you decide to eat cereal for breakfast, both of those decisions did in fact happen, and both led to different outcomes, which led to more outcomes and more decisions, and it just kind of branches off in all different areas from there. Now, the idea is that we as the viewing audience are kind of a continuum, kind of Q-type character, where we're bouncing around from different realities, viewing the different crews in different iterations. A lot of people like this idea because it does service TNG specifically, because that show did a lot of what they call soft resets. So in one episode, you would have people basically almost dying in an episode, and then the next episode, everyone's just inside the 10 forward lounge drinking or listening to Riker try to play the trombone or whatever. So people felt it was kind of weird, so they came up with this concept of we're jumping from alternate reality to alternate reality. So there may be some continuity, and that would explain why there's some continuity issues in there, because each different parallel universe has its own kind of thing going on, and we're this Q character bouncing around and checking all the different ones out. I like this idea because it's quintessential Trek. It's multiple realities. We are a Q character as a viewing audience, and we're just experiencing different outcomes based off of the decisions of the characters that we know and love from the show. So with all of those different ideas being stated, I personally feel that the second option is most appropriate, not only for myself but also for the channel itself. And that's mainly because you want to start, when I make a video, I start with the shows, I start with the movies, and I kind of branch out from there. Like when I just did my NX02 video the other day about the Columbia, I started with the episodes of Enterprise that it appeared in, and I expanded out into the Star Trek Destiny novels that were written. To me, I feel like all that does is just add to the mythos of Trek. Now, if they came out with a new season of Star Trek where somebody offhandedly says, oh, the NX-02 Columbia, yeah, that was around for 150 years, and the ship was retired greatly, and Captain Hernandez got promoted to Admiral, and everything is great, then that would essentially erase the Star Trek Destiny novels timeline and plot details, because it's been replaced by a hard canon that is on the show/films. I like this idea the most. It allows a bit of flexibility in the videos that I make, because it allows me to put in a lot of extra stuff in the expanded universe that is Star Trek, but it also keeps things pretty level grounded in terms of what is hard canon and what is no kidding. Everybody can agree on that the shows and the movies are the prime canon, and everything else just kind of adds to it until that stuff gets erased by the shows or movies. I feel like that's the most fair approach to canon. Paramount and CBS, unfortunately, cannot be on the same page because they're, number one, they're two different companies, but they cannot be on the same page for some reason in regards to what is officially canon. There used to be a little sheet on the StarTrek.com website that described the official canon terms, which was, again, the shows, the movies, and the animated series, but that has since been rescinded, and nothing has come out to actually replace it. So it's left the fans in this weird, nebulous kind of feeling of, well, what the hell is canon? Is the Star Trek Online storyline, is that canon? Is the comic line canon? Is the books canon? I don't know. And to be truth be told, until we get official word from Paramount and CBS, official updated word from them saying this is no kidding what is canon and this is no kidding what is not, this is just the way I'm going to approach it. And this is the way I think most fans are approaching it, which is kind of holistically, in that every single person has their own feelings about what canon really is. So anyways, that's my feelings on canon. Moving forward on the channel, I hope that you guys and gals have watched this video and understand a little bit more where I'm coming from when I set a video up on the channel and begin to research it and put the ideas and concepts together and then present it to all of you in a video format. That's basically what I'm doing. I start with the shows and the movies, and I move on to the books, the video games, and the comics to kind of add to the video and add to the mythos and explain some more stuff that happens in the expanded universe, which again, to me, all that does is just build upon the mythos of Star Trek. So anyways, I'm absolutely eager to hear about what everybody feels about this concept. I know I'm going to piss off some fans. I know I'm going to piss off people who are not fans. I know some people are very, very, very passionate about this concept and this topic, and they feel like they are absolutely 100% right. But like I said, there really isn't a correct answer until we get the official word from Paramount and CBS, and they get on the same page and they say, no kidding, this is what's canon, and then this is what is not. This is just fluffy stuff. So I am curious to hear what everybody has to say about this. Thank you guys for checking out this video. Please follow me on Twitter at RealKetwolski. Follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/RealKetwolski. And throw a like and subscribe up on YouTube. And I will see all of you guys next time. Live long and prosper, my Trekkies.